Hello everyone, welcome to Belief. It is September 1st. Oh my goodness. I'm saying this out loud because I want to post this today. If you've been around, you know that I often don't post things immediately because I don't know why, but we're going to change that today. So join in, get ready. This is episode 9, season 2. Let's go. Okay, as you've noticed from the title, today we are talking about purpose. Now, this one is so dear to my heart because I feel like ever since I gained consciousness at age 7, I guess, we are basically children, and before the ages of 7, we are basically just a walking subconscious. So your subconscious is 95% of your brain, and your conscious is only 5. So I've spoken about this before on prior episodes. But in short, basically all of the bodily functions that are happening right now is what is accounting for that 95%. All of the thoughts and beliefs that just run on autopilot, it's basically your programming. Okay, so the programming is basically learned and installed up until ages anywhere from 7 to 12. And then that's when at some point we become conscious, we become aware of the fact that we are humans having some form of experience, and that's when all the questions come, which is probably why you're here, which is exactly why I am here, because I had a bunch of freaking questions. So we're basically we're operating out of our subconscious all the time. And so this is why you might find sometimes I'm saying all the affirmations, I'm doing all the things, but I still, this programming hasn't changed. I'm still attracting the same situations. I'm still finding myself with the same core beliefs. So for example, you could be looking in the mirror every day and saying, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I love myself, I trust myself, I value myself, I honor myself. These things are so powerful and things that we should do. But at the end of the day, if that's the only part of you that believes it, that 5%, that conscious behavior, those affirmations, but the rest of your programming doesn't align with those values, you're not going to get very far, because you're now trying to push this 5% along when 95% of you is like, hello, we've got some serious trauma that we need to deal with, because we haven't felt valued since ever. Or we haven't felt worthy of this, or we haven't felt beautiful of this because of XYZ, because of what parents have said, what happened in school, whatever, just the way that society is. So really important that we understand the subconscious and the conscious. There's so much more on this, but in the context of understanding purpose, we really need to get that there has been programming ever since we were born, basically, that does tell us that our purpose is not just being who we are. Because I'm just going to tell it to you straight up, that's what it is. Okay, spoiler. You get it in 3 minutes in the episode, so you can switch off now if you're done, if you're content with that. Your purpose is just being who you are. That's all. That is all. And this question haunted me. Yeah, like I said, ever since I gained consciousness, it was like, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? Like, how can I be of value here in humanity? And I feel like it just felt like this pressure of like, I need to help humanity in some form. Look at it. It's a fucking wreck, okay? Like, we can see it from different sides, but let's just be real here. There's a large portion of society and humanity and humans in general that are freaking suffering. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that. So it's it is really hard, and it can feel like this really, really deep pressure that isn't fulfilled. But the amazing part is there doesn't need to be this pressure, because you just being who you are is the purpose, is the service to humanity. Because when you are more you, you make life easier for you, you feel good, you're expressing yourself, you're wearing whatever you want to wear, you're saying whatever you want to say. Obviously, this all needs to come from a space of alignment and a really true heart's desire. So that's where there's lots of other tools that can help draw us in. And I wanted to say that because I said you can say whatever you want. Yes, you can say whatever you want, but for the benefit of you and for everyone else, what you're saying needs to come from a good place. If you want to be doing this, right, I say right relative to wrong in terms of what best serves you. So there's no right or wrong. Let's just stop with the right or wrong, okay? Right or wrong is just a relative term, and the best way to use what is right or wrong is in the question of, does this serve me? And if something serves you, it serves everybody else. Once again, we have to come back to it being the highest, like the heart's desire, the highest, most aligned way of being, so that when I say, if it serves you, then it's for everyone, because someone could go, oh, well, it serves me to hoard all the money in the world and it's all mine. Well, no, that actually doesn't serve you, really. And it doesn't serve everybody else to hoard all this money, to have all this money for no reason, just for the sake of what, quote unquote, safety, security. No, that's not actually serving you. So once again, everything is that deep because it is. If you want to stay at the shallow surface, that's fine, but you're not going to find any treasure. You're not going to find a beautiful octopus in the puddle, are you? No, you're not going to find beautiful fish in the puddle. You're not going to find beautiful coral in the puddle. Where do you go for that stuff? The ocean, okay? So it doesn't have to be that deep, or it can be. It's totally just up to you. But I believe that all the beautiful things are found in the depths of the ocean. So that's why we go deep here on belief. So coming back to purpose, you are your purpose. Just being you and being more of you is just how you get further into purpose. If you're sitting here and you're like, okay, how do I fulfill my purpose? What can I do? Well, what feels good to you? What is an expression of your being? Is it to go open up your wardrobe and to go, what am I going to wear today? I'm just going to wear like whatever makes me feel good. Dopamine dressing. Basically, I didn't even know this was a thing, but I realized that this is what I have been doing for like ever since I was a child. It's just wearing like colors and whatever feels good and just whatever you want to put on. Like you can mix and match whatever. I'm literally wearing like a little t-shirt and like my dress is over the top of the t-shirt. Like it is so random, but I'm like, this is what I want to wear today. And when you let you be more of you and it's not hurting anybody, it's coming from an aligned space, it's coming from a true heart's desire, coming from just love of expression and expression of life, that is your purpose, okay? So if you're not wanting to express it through wardrobe, then how can you just be more of you throughout your day? Like, I know for many of you, it's pretty common to be working a job that you don't enjoy. I freaking hear you. I know what that feels like. And all of this stuff I started to practice when I was working in jobs that I didn't enjoy, because that's the thing. You can have this acceptance for like, okay, this is where I am. This is part of my path. Okay, there's nothing wrong with where you are. You are at exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Okay, this is all unfolding for your highest good, wherever you are. Even if you're in a place and you're like, I don't understand why I'm here right now, zoom out, okay? There is a bigger picture. There is a way bigger picture at play. And a really easy way to tap into this is to look back at what was a hardship that you had in the past, where that version of you in the past was like, I don't see a way out of this. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And how can you, in this present moment, with the awareness and the insight that you've gained since that moment previously, what can you say to your past self? You can say, okay, I see how it all had to happen this way. I see why I had to go through this so that I could then appreciate this. Or I can, for example, I can see why I had to go through that really, really hard relationship so that now I can be in a position to be a lot more clear, a lot more specific on what I do want out of a relationship, or what I do want out of a friendship, or what I do want out of a job, or a housing situation, or whatever the situation is. There is always a bigger picture, okay? This moment right now, if you can just look at it imagine your life as a circle, right? Your whole life is in this circle. It's a massive, massive circle. And this moment is just one little tiny dot. It's just one tiny dot. And when things get hard, this is what I always say to myself. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. It's just one dot in this amazing, amazing life that we are here to live. It is just one moment that will pass, and knowing that it will pass creates this acceptance of like, okay, it's going to make sense eventually. It doesn't have to make sense right now. Not everything makes sense right now. I feel like I'm always trying to make sense of what is going on, which is really annoying because the logical mind just is not going to be able to do that. The mind, that's not what the mind is for. The mind is best used for creation. Okay? That's where the mind is so amazing, because it takes what you've learned and what you've experienced, and then you can put that into something concisive, is that a word? Something concise and cohesive is what I meant. Cohesive and concise. Concisive? Maybe we merge the words together. I don't know, you guys. I had a coffee this morning and I haven't had a coffee for like over a week. So I'm absolutely buzzed. But the mind is such an amazing tool when we leave it to do what it does best. Its job is not to analyze every freaking moment. That's when we find ourselves looping. We find ourselves going insane. We're like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand what's going on. Oh my goodness. And we're just creating this loop, and the mind is not going to be able to figure it out, okay? That's just the facts. So put the mind at ease. Just say, hey, I know you're trying to figure this out, brain, but could we figure out the last situation? Could we have figured out that I would even be here, right? After all I've been through? No. These things, they're not for us to conceptualize in that moment. And all there is to just zoom out, see that there is a bigger picture, see that there are forces at play that our mind just cannot conceptualize, and that is okay, right? If you think about in terms of dimensions, spoken about this before, but I go a bit deeper into it in season 2, episode 3. But if you think about dimensions, we live in the third dimension. So we have 3, so a dimension is a way of measuring something. Di means 2, and mention means measure. So 2 or more ways of measuring something. So the third dimension is 3 ways of measurement, 3 types of measurement. We have height, width, and depth for space. And then for time, we have past, present, future. If this isn't making sense, don't worry. Once again, you know this subconsciously. You know this, and it doesn't matter if your conscious doesn't know right now. These things take repeated, contemplation. So in this current dimension, there are 3 measures, okay? And we have time and space. That is exclusive to this dimension. So this is something that I always think about when I'm trying to conceptualize something and I just can't. Imagine a 2D being. So now instead of being in the 3rd dimension where we are right now, we're going to 2D. So we're imagining a stick man. We're imagining you as a stick man. Just has a head, has a body, legs, and arms. This is only a 2-dimensional plane. There isn't, think about it, a square. It's a square, not a cube. Okay? On this piece of paper, what we're imagining. We're drawing a square, we've got a stick man, a square. But whereas in the 3rd dimension, you would have you and a cube. There is no way to explain to a 2-dimensional being the nature of what we're even doing right now. If I was to look at that stick man on a piece of paper and say, hey, stick man, have you recorded like a podcast lately? And that stick man would be like, what the fuck? Because there is no way for a 2D being to record a podcast. Like, yes, you could draw. It could have a podcast mic in his hand and he'd go, yeah, look, I've got a podcast mic. And I'd be like, yeah, but can you record one for me? He's not able to do that. So if you now think of it from the perspective of being in the 3D, us as 3-dimensional beings, there are plenty more dimensions, okay? So we are not able to understand what else goes on because we're only 3D. So imagine a 6-dimensional being explaining something to us. And there's so much in maths and physics that we can go into and we can have a look at this. And there are so many resources on YouTube. But ultimately, my point here is that there are just things that we're not going to be able to conceptualize. So just rest easy. That stick man isn't worried about whether or not he's going to get fed. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. This stick man is taken care of. You are taken care of. You are taken care of. Everything is okay. There is a higher power that loves you so dearly because that higher power knows who you truly are. And this is where we're coming back to the purpose. That part of you, that bigger part of you, and I shared something on my Instagram and it's a beautiful acrylic artwork and I put in the text of like your ego and your higher self and your fear and your intuition. This version of you is so, I'm going to say small, but you are so much bigger than what you think you are. You are so much greater. You are so much more powerful than what you think you are. And it doesn't help because we have grown up in a world where religion has been something to make us feel smaller. It really has been designed by the Christian and the Catholic Church and many other religions that we are small, we are humans. Even in the Bible, the way that it's been interpreted is to say that children are inherently sinful. Are you beeping kidding me? This is a joke, okay? This is a joke. Children are not inherently sinful. It is total BS and propaganda to interpret a piece of holy scripture with this element of control in wanting the people to feel small so that they need to pray to something bigger than them to save them. And I've always known that there's been this element of religion that has just been so dark. So I was never really drawn to it. I went to a Christian high school from year 6 to year 10. And it was like, chapel every day. I can't even remember what the other ones were called, but like I know the Lord's Prayer because I was doing it every day, but it didn't mean anything to me at that time because the messaging of like, you must repent. Anytime you do something sinful, you have to repent. You're by nature, you are not clean. You must confess, you must do this and you must do that and you must pray to the Lord and you must seek forgiveness and humble thyself before the Lord. Okay, this is getting a bit ridiculous. Doesn't that just sound awful? Doesn't that just make you want to contract? And doesn't that just make you feel like, oh God, I need to be saved. I need something outside of me to save me because how much of a piece of shit am I that I'm so sinful, and like what am I even doing here if I'm so sinful? Like, no, there is nothing sinful about being a human. There is nothing sinful about your nature. At the end of the day, everyone is doing the best that they can with the resources that they have, and this is why it's so important to not take anything personally, because even a narcissist, even the darkness of someone with narcissistic tendencies so deep that they're a narcissist like every single day. And I don't like to call people a narcissist and put them in that box, but ultimately there are people that are so hurt. They're so hurt that all they know is to hurt other people. And I don't believe that anybody is inherently bad. I do not believe in that at all. I believe that people are doing the best they can with the resources that they have. And when you have this level of compassion, you can start to understand, and then you can start to forgive. And you can start to look at the people in your past that have hurt you and see that those beings too are hurt. They too are just trying to make sense of this human experience, and whether it was from their parents or some form of their upbringing and their life, they are also being beat down by themselves or by other people. So here's the thing, is that we are not inherently bad. We are not sinful. This is just part of being human. And I think one thing that people always talk about with the Bible and God and all this spirituality, religion, whatever, is about the devil and the temptations of the devil and the polarity between God and the devil. And people say like, oh no, well, I don't want to get sucked into the temptations of the devil, oh, I'm so afraid of the devil, and people are so scared. I hate to say it to you, that it's already there. The devil is already there. You've already shaken hands with the devil. Like, look, I don't believe in this. There really is no such thing, because at the core level, it's all source, it's all one, right? So, and for me, all of this is just about simplicity for me. And I'm sure this probably sounds very complicated to some people, but ultimately my goal in life is to make things as simple as possible. And me talking on this podcast makes them so simple for me, because it comes back to that core belief of like, you are your own purpose. You just being you is all there is. You just being you and allowing the perfection of the present moment is all there is. But in terms of this devil and being afraid of something, it's already there. You don't need to be afraid of the devil coming and tempting you, because you already know what the devil is. The devil is that fear. The devil is that fear in your voice that tells you that you can't leave this job that's sucking out your soul. Oh no, that wouldn't be good, because oh no, then everybody else in your job would be left with this extra. Let me tell you, if you died, your job would be replaced. Okay? But I'm talking in terms of those that are in jobs that I was in. Like, I had in high school, I'd been in retail and cafe or whatever. And then I went to uni and studied and got a bachelor's and then went into 9 to 5. These jobs were still very much replaceable. Even the position that I had that was the most impactful position in consulting, it's still replaceable, okay? So stop giving your life and considering this company or organization into your decisions when ultimately there's just somebody else at the top trying to make decisions that best serve them, and you are just a number. So this isn't to make you upset. This is to make you go, oh, okay, right. I can take my power back. If this doesn't serve me, I'm going to leave. Because if you're at a job that doesn't serve you, are you really doing your best work? No. And that's not serving anyone. You're just there and you're just doing it because there's security and there's safety in a steady income. I get it. I did the exact same thing. I get it. But at the end of the day, that was selling my soul. Working in this job, I worked at a mining company. What? The person that I truly am, that loves the environment and loves just the oneness of the world, I was selling my soul for the check because it paid really well. Because let me tell you, companies that don't do ethical things pay really, really well because that's the only way that they get you in. So at that point, I was doing deals with the devil. I was exchanging my time and my happiness for cash, and it all worked out the way it was meant to be, okay? It's not like you hear this and now you're like, oh my God, I have to quit now. Oh my God. No. It's just reminding you that you have the power and you can take action whenever it feels aligned to you, okay? There's no stress. It's all good, okay? It's just knowing that you are so much more powerful and there is so much that is destined for you as soon as you allow it. As soon as you go, okay, you know what, God, universe, source, divine, whatever word resonates, I surrender. I surrender because I have this vision that I want to live this life of doing this. For me, I had this vision of hang on, don't we live on a whole fucking planet? And I'm just here in one country doing the same thing every single day. What the frick? What am I doing this for? I have a vision of traveling the world, and look how that's manifested. Now I have been traveling and I have been able to fulfill that vision. And I know it's always money, what about money? How are you affording the God, money has such a chokehold on this in society, and I feel it, and that's when my fears come up and that's when my stresses come up. But at the end of the day, the way that you spend money now is to compensate for the dopamine that you're lacking in the job that is making you miserable. So when I worked jobs that I didn't enjoy, for example, my 9 to 5, oh my God, when I worked that full time and I was just sitting in front of a computer and just beep, 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 bop. And it's not to say that we don't have an impact. This is where, you can step into your purpose every single day and just be more of you. This is where when you're ordering your coffee, at 8 a.m. before you start work, just be you. Be in the presence of that moment. When you talk to the barista, be present. Don't be on your phone and checking emails. There is time for that. There is time, okay? Be present with the barista. Have a conversation with. It's not even about having a conversation. Look them in the eyes. They're a human too. Realize that there is so much oneness. Realize that we are all connected and that we all have this same fear. And we all just want to be loved, and we all just want to be, and we all just want to feel like we're in purpose. Just be more of you in every moment. When you're dealing with a coworker, when you're talking, just be you. Okay? Be who you are. And then think about how can I How can I be more of me? And at the end of the day, everything that happened, everything in this journey, every PowerPoint that I had to put together in consulting, every uni assignment that I put together, every data entry in an Excel spreadsheet, every email, everything is part of the journey to where you will be and to where you are now. Like everything that happened is happening for you. So happening to you. Why is this happening to me? No, it's happening for you. I guarantee that if I didn't go through my degree, if I didn't go through those jobs, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. So everything serves a purpose, okay? So just trust and know that you don't need to detach from your job and just completely depart. No, still give what you've got from an aligned space, and know that above all else, there are people around you that when you shine your light, they get the opportunity to go, oh, maybe I can shine my light too. And that's the beauty of this whole thing, is that your purpose is just being you. Just being you, that's it. So when you let you be more of you, you're now showing other people the path less traveled. You're now going, oh, right, so if I just get to be me, and when I'm more me, other people get to be more them, and we just get to be more ourselves, and all of a sudden we're all in purpose. It brings a lot more love and a lot more light to the world. And as soon as you can come back to not only just the present and the beingness in each moment and the beauty of each moment, and look at how your needs are cared for in each moment. And this is where it's the gratitude always comes in. Whatever you can be grateful for, be grateful for it, because there is so much in this present moment, in this gift, in this moment that was pre-sent to you from the future version of yourself, from God, from universe, from source, divine, whatever you want to call it. The gift is a present. I mean, the present is a gift. The present is a gift. Think about how all of your needs are cared for right now. Wherever you are you seated? Are you laying down? You have a space to just be. Do you have headphones in, a speaker? What is this coming out? Is this coming out of a phone? Is this coming out of a laptop? Oh my goodness, what an abundance, right? Do you have a glass of water? Do you have a drink, a yummy drink? Do you have food there? Oh my gosh. Do you have a place to sleep tonight? You know, not even that. Yes, that example. This is an example being gratitude. But even more, in the present moment, do you have a spot for your butt right now? Is your butt in a spot? Is your butt supported? Yes. Oh my gosh. How much do you have? I'm in the aircon right now, which is like so chilly. And I'm so blessed because far out Thailand is hot. Far out it's hot. But there is so much in the present moment. So, and this is like anxiety hack 101, is ground in the present moment. What do you have in the present moment? You know, like what are 5 things around you that you can see? What are 5 things around you can smell? Those sort of things, these grounding activities, just to ease into the present moment. So look around you now. What do you have? What can you be thankful for? If you have free time right now, and you can do whatever you want, what a blessing. If you are listening to this at your job, what a blessing to be able to have the opportunity to have a job, to be able to have the opportunity to exchange your skills and your time for money, so that then you can exchange value for other things. And coming back around to the money, is all money in itself is worthless. Just money, just paper. It's worth nothing until you want to exchange value. And so whenever people are like, oh, like I have my money, I'm running out of money, or my money is going so fast. Well, it's just in the mindset shift of where is my money going? What value am I exchanging? For example, I just paid for my accommodation just before, and I'm just so grateful to have a place to be. Like, thank you. Wow, this money, I believe that the accommodation, me having this space right here, is worth more than the money that I have, that I therefore exchange it for it. So if you think about, you've got $5, that $5 is worth nothing until you see something that you value. So then you see, oh, matcha latte with oat milk. Hello, okay. I want that more than I want this $5. So therefore I'm going to hand that over and I'm going to exchange that value. And then the person behind the counter goes, yes, yay, now I've got $5 and I get to exchange a matcha latte because they want the $5. So they'll do the work to give you the matcha latte. So really, if you can see how, and just take the power away from money. Don't let money have this power over you, because at the end of the day, it's still energy in the form of matter, just like everything. And our universe is more energy than it is matter. And look, money, I agree. It is one of the trickiest, for some reason, and that reason being programming. It is one of the trickiest things to, quote unquote, break free from, to not have this hold on you, because that's ultimately why I kept working those jobs, because I was like, I need money to survive, and all these things. And unfortunately we do live in a world where you can't just get to be for free. Things do need to be set up, and we do live in a society right now where money is used for the exchange of goods and services. But it doesn't have to be like this, because think about how many times where you've exchanged a good for a good, or a service for a service, or a good for a service, or vice versa. So there are so many different options. And as soon as you start stepping out of the fear of money and you allow your nervous system to calm down, then that's when you can actually allow your mind to be creative. You can actually allow your mind to go, oh, okay, well, this looks like this is a good idea for money. This could make money. Oh, this would be less stress on me, but I could make money this way. So once you can get out of your mind and into your body and into the present moment, you actually give your mind the space to be creative and the space to, now with an open mind, think about what other options there are for you, what feels good. So yeah, this one though is really important. I just want everyone to really contemplate the idea that money as a piece of paper is literally worthless until you deem it's worthy of exchange. And so I invite you then to, when you are spending money, look at what you're getting in exchange. When you tap your card for that coffee, have a moment with your coffee. Like, just be present with your coffee. Be like, oh my gosh, yummy, 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 yummy. Look what I've got. Look what I've got in exchange. Thank you, past version of me, for working so that I could have this money. Thank you for exchanging your skills and time so that I could have this money in order to exchange for this coffee. How beautiful. And smell it before you go to take a sip. Be conscious. Be conscious. And be present in the moment. And really see what value you're exchanging. When you buy lunch, wow, thank you. This lunch is wow, it's fueling me. It's giving me energy. I'm so thankful. Really, just thank yourself, because you did it, right? You did it. Be freaking proud of yourself. Be so proud of yourself for where you are. Look how far you've come. Look how amazing you deal with things now. Like, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and it was of someone crying working at Starbucks. And like, that's so relatable, because like, far out. I don't know about you, but I just remember being a teenager working for a company that clearly didn't care about me as a person, just a number, and it's so busy and it's so overwhelming, and your manager doesn't want to put more people on, and you're like, I don't understand, like I'm so stressed. Think about that version of yourself and how that anxiety would have overwhelmed you, and it would have been too much, and you would have just combusted, and you would have had a panic attack, and like, oh goodness, now you've got to go in the bathroom, and now you're wasting even more time. Not that that's what we want to focus on, but think about the growth from then to now. Look at the things that you've had to deal with, and it's just a breeze. And yeah, it's still hard, and yeah, the anxiety still creeps back in, but you've grown so much, and that is where you need to be proud of yourself, and that is where you need to look back and go, wow, go me, honestly, go me. So I'm really freaking proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you. The fact that you're on here, seriously, I say it every time, but I'm so proud of you, because doing this work is all there is. All there is to do is remember who you are. And once you do that, once you awaken to your own truth, once you awaken your soul, once you remember who you are and that you are Source expressing itself, you are God expressing itself in human form. You're a human right now, but you're a spirit. You are energy having a human experience. Not a human having a spiritual experience. You are a spirit having a human experience. So once you realize who you are, and it's such a beautiful journey to go on, because you just discover that you were always this person all along. Like, if you're feeling cold, I would invite you to look at pictures of you in childhood, or if you can, talk to those that were around when you were growing up, and just ask them, like, what were the things that you loved doing as a child? Because I can guarantee many of those things that you did as a child would slap right now. Like, when I talk to mum and I think back to when I was a kid, and I would just go into my wardrobe and put like whatever random clothes on, and mum was like, oh, at some point you just decided to dress yourself. And I remember so distinctly wearing a skirt, like a little mini ruffle skirt. I don't know if I was like 5 or something. And then I put another ruffle skirt on as a top, which is like exactly what I'm doing today. I put another skirt as a top, and I was like, Mum, like, groundbreaking. We can wear skirts as a top and as a skirt. And I remember her being like, yeah, go off, queen. Do whatever you want. And it's so funny, because you will realize that during this process of remembering who you are, you were always there. You were always there. It's not about becoming somebody else. It's about remembering who was always there, and going back to childhood is quite important, because you realize that when you were just that walking subconscious, when you weren't conscious and like, oh, I'm worried about what other people think about me, and I can't do this, I can't do that. When you were just source, just without a care in the world, just la 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 la, that is who you truly are. So yeah, I really invite you to do some of the things that you loved when you were a kid. I've been carrying like watercolors around since Greece. I loved painting as a kid. I mean, who doesn't? I really like the watercolor medium, because I feel like you can go over it, and it's, if you make a quote unquote mistake or something you don't like, you can kind of go over it and keep going. So yeah, I just invite you to have more creativity in your life. I think I talked about this in season 1, episode 4, unlocking your mission. But really just, who were you when you were a kid? What were the things you loved to do? This is who you are, okay? Just allow yourself to be more of who you are. Because your purpose is just being you. And if you're thinking, okay, all right, cool, I'm on this practice, I want to be in my purpose, Just ask yourself, how can I be more me in this moment? How can I allow more of the present moment into this moment? And so often that is just sitting and enjoying the beauty of life around you. And this is where nature helped me so much, so much. And nature doesn't mean you need to go out in the middle of the forest where no one else is. Obviously, that's so therapeutic and so awesome. But like even right now, I can just see a bush with lots of leaves and how abundant. Like I couldn't even count how many leaves I can see, and I can see just a fraction of a bush. So look at the abundance in nature. Just really appreciate. What can you appreciate? And yeah, I want to say I'm so freaking proud of you, and I can't wait to see you express more of your being and more of who you are, because that is just the most beautiful thing in the world. So I love you guys so freaking much. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know as always. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So I love you lots. Goodbye.